Hello. My name is Caitlin. If you're new to the podcast, I, for some reason, have a really hard time with remembering to say my name. Yeah, it's Monday, so haven't recorded since Friday, so I'll do a little bit of a recap, and then also some things that interesting conversations that I've had, and some things that I have noticed about myself and that my partner has noticed about me that I think are, all neurodivergent related, but very interesting to me. I use that word a lot, because I don't know what is more of an accurate word to use when things are, in fact, interesting, so... But Saturday we went to a Harry Potter experience thing in the evening. So that was fun. I kind of just relaxed. We went over to my partner's house, and I did a budget, because me and my spreadsheets, and just that kind of nerdy stuff. I mean, necessary, or at least definitely useful. So I have a bit of a obsession with productivity. I have gotten a lot better in recent years, but I used to not be able to do anything if it wasn't productive. Now, what does productive even mean? I mean, I definitely did some art projects, but it had to be, I had to be doing something. I couldn't just be doing something for fun. It had to have an end result that was worth the effort, I guess. And I had to have something to show for my time. I still very much feel that way, but I've gotten a little bit better at allowing myself to not do things. And sometimes not doing is productive, and trying to learn how to actually relax. Not very good at that. We had a fun time. It was really cold, but at least there was snow and an almost full moon, so that really made the evening better for me. I think I enjoyed playing in the snow more than the actual thing, but it's whatever. My favorite part was the light up mushroom patch that was covered in snow. That was adorable. Loved that. The more people got there, the less I enjoyed it. I just don't have a hard time with lots of people being around me. I really don't know how I used to enjoy concerts so much when they were outdoor festivals. I did always have to force my way all the way, weave my way all the way up to the front. So maybe that's why, I could ignore everyone behind me. So I just had to get all the way up to the front so that I was basically at the bar, the gate or whatever to the stage. So maybe that's how I got through the overwhelming crowd. I don't know. I think I also had more energy back then, and I just have less energy to force myself to do things that take a lot of energy. And then the next day, Sunday, yesterday, I didn't know that my partner's mom was entertaining that day, so people were coming over. And it was people, like, a couple of people that I knew. But, like, okay, I like them, generally speaking. Like, I like talking to them. We always have good conversations. We had good conversations again. It was really nice. They're cool people. Not only was I not mentally prepared for them to be coming, but I also wasn't mentally prepared for, like, well, okay, I didn't know there were more people than I thought that arrived. So that was already like, oh, great. Just, it sounds like I don't want to be around people, or that I, like, didn't like them, and that's not at all what I mean. But I think people who are neurodivergent will understand that, like, it's not what you expected. Not, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's not what you expected. And that can just be jarring. And so I feel like not only was I nervous for me having to, like, talk to people that I don't know very well, and I have to use a lot more mental energy to do that. But then there being people that I didn't know there, and I don't know. It was just, I mean, and I did have some good conversations, like I said. The one lady had helped with a project that my partner's mom and I were doing. It was a big floral design wedding, and I was doing the cake, and it was a whole thing. And she was there, and so her husband was also there, and ended up having some really cool conversations. They're very educated on neurodivergence, and, like, very neurodivergent affirming people, which is awesome. And so I don't even know how it came up. Oh, I think it was, I said something to my partner. I think they were talking about how somebody had gotten their sled stolen when they were a kid. And I was joking with my partner, saying, well, one of the only perks of being homeschooled and never talking to anyone is no one can steal your shit. So yeah, it was like some bullies at the hill stole their sleds, and I was like, well, if you just never talk to anyone, never go outside, then you don't have to worry about that. No, but I was, being sarcastic, making a joke, and her husband overheard me and was like, oh, you're homeschooled? I was like, yep, all the way through high school. And he was like, oh, wow, how did you feel about that? Like, what is your like, opinion of your experience with that, or whatever? And I was like, well, so I was just recently diagnosed with autism, and I think it was actually probably the best thing for me that I was homeschooled, because my mom was able to kind of tailor things to my abilities, whether or not I was ahead or behind, or, well, not necessarily behind, but, like, struggling. Whether or not I was struggling or things came really easy to me, we could kind of tailor how much time I spent on those subjects. And she, if I really wasn't learning something one way, she would try to figure out another way to teach it to me. So I think it was really the best thing for me. And the only thing is that, like, socially, I think I kind of flew under the radar for having a bunch of social issues, because it was just like, oh, well, you're just homeschooled, which is not true, because my sister didn't have the same problems, and she was also homeschooled. So it was just a misconception. It's a misconception in general, but it was definitely, like, I think had I been around other people, my assessor believes the same thing, that had I been around other people more often in a school setting or a setting where I needed to perform to a certain level and I was being compared to other kids, it would have been way more obvious. But obvious doesn't necessarily mean better for me. It just means that we would have known. So I think we were kind of treating the problem without knowing there was a problem. So I think it was for the best. But, you know, later on he was like, so, like, do you mind telling me more about your assessment and, like, that whole, like, process for you? And that was really cool. And I told him some things, and I showed him that one section on the IQ test. And, you know, I was saying, like, I really think this should be a standard test for everyone. And so we were talking about that. He was hypothesizing how he would score on the working memory side or the processing speed. He was like, I think I really would also score quite low on the processing speed. But he's like, I don't think I struggle as much with working memory. And my partner and I were like, yeah, no. My partner probably would score quite low in the working memory just because he can't remember anything. Like, not really. But there's a lot of times where it's like, you know, you don't remember a thing from whatever that event was a few years ago. And he does remember some stuff, but it's just way less than the average person, I think. Or like anyone else that was there at the time, like always has way more vivid memories than he does, or detailed memories. And so I think that's very interesting to, like, he's interested in possibly getting the assessment done, and I definitely support that. But it was really cool to be able to talk about it. I mean, I love talking about neurodivergent things, obviously. I actually just signed up for a course to learn more about it, and to learn more about, like, coaching. Not necessarily thinking of coaching anytime soon, but you know, more for myself than anything else. I also just crave knowledge, so to be as educated as possible. I think it would not only help my podcast be more informative, but I think it would just be helpful to be able, whenever I do have conversations, to be able to speak more from a more educated perspective. So that's pretty cool. I'm very excited about that. It's a very long program, so we'll see how long it takes me to get through, but I do work crazy long hours, but thankfully there is some downtime while I'm at work, and so maybe I'll be able to do a couple of things like here and there. Yeah, I'm excited for just, I really do enjoy learning. I like learning in a low stress environment. I can't handle learning in a typical school setting, so I think this will be better for me. Timers, people being around, there being a very strict schedule, like none of that works for me. So probably because I'm autistic, and also because I never had that because I was homeschooled. So, like, being homeschooled, I never had to force myself to necessarily follow somebody else's schedule. Like, I would have a couple of classes at this homeschool co-op that I had to follow a syllabus. But it was never it wasn't every class that I took in school. It was like 2 classes that my mom didn't feel comfortable teaching me, or was like, well, somebody else is offering this, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Like, So most of the stuff that I was doing was at my own pace. Also, like, assignments, we only met once a week, so all of my assignments were week or bi-weekly. So it was like, there was never like, you have to do this today. Like, there was none of that. So I just don't I really don't handle those types of rigid, formatted learning environments. That, like, just doesn't work for me. So this is self-paced. I think that'll definitely be better for me. I mean, that's how my college was for the last 2 years, and, well, I graduated, so there's that. So, yeah, we'll see. But I'm excited to learn more either way. Even if it takes me forever, I don't really care. I also am trying to, like, not be hard on myself because I know my processing speed is slow and I don't want to rush through anything because I really want to understand all of the information that I'm being given. So if it takes me longer in order to do that, then that's okay. Anyways, I don't have as much time today. I got to work a little bit later than normal, and I have a schedule I'm trying to keep. But things happen. I'm not super surprised. People are back to work from the snow of last week, and I don't know. Still not thrilled. I also had to get gas. Of course, there's always so many different debates in my head, like, every time I decide to do something. So, like, I had enough gas to technically get back to where I live and not, like, worry about it. But gas was cheaper up here, and the gas station is, like, on the one side of the road where you can't really get to it from the other side of the road. I'm like, oh, well, I can't get it after work, so I need to get it before work. So I'm like, well, now I have to push my schedule back a little bit and be okay with maybe not doing things in the, like, exact time frames that I had set. And this is one reason why schedules are really frustrating for me. Yes, I need schedules, and I like to stick to them very very rigid when it comes to the schedules. However, stuff happens, and it's just really, like, it's impossible to do the schedule the same every time because other factors will happen. Things that are outside of my control will happen, and there's nothing. Yeah, they're outside of my control. I can't do anything about it. And then I get frustrated because I'm not on schedule, and then it makes me just not want to have the schedule at all, because then at least I wouldn't have the stress of not being on schedule, because there would be no schedule. But having no schedule is also complete chaos for me, because then, like, I don't have a schedule. Nothing feels right. I don't know if am I doing enough? I feel like I'm not doing enough. What did I even do today? I can't remember because my working memory is not the best. And so it's like, okay. Yeah. But something interesting also that my partner said to me yesterday, and he said it a couple times, but I guess I just brush it off, and this time I was like, okay, I guess he said it enough times that I was like, okay, I believe you. My partner is like, I think you really do have ADHD. And so of course I was like, well, why do you think that? Like, what specifically makes you feel that way? Because I know I've had an assessment done, but she also said, I can't be 100% sure you don't have ADHD. So I was like, okay, well, that's great. But he was like, you forget things, like, all the time, like things in different places. Or my my mom will be talking to me, and I just like I won't even hear her, and like I don't like I'll even be like kind of looking at her, and like I still won't even hear her. Like there's just certain things that I do that he's like, I feel like that's more of an ADHD tendency than autism. But granted, he is not a doctor or anything, so I do find it interesting though to hear from, you know, his perspective, because it's, you know, maybe other people notice things about me that I don't notice. I don't, you know, I may be caught up in my own thinking and processing and not realizing what is actually happening, the way that I'm being perceived. I just find that to be very informative. I think it's always good to have somebody else's perspective on things, especially when it comes to behaviors, because you're not watching yourself most of the time, and even if you are, you're still in your own body, so like you have a personal bias one way or another on things, even if you're not trying to. And so I mean, it's definitely something for me to consider. I said I don't think I'm going to get another assessment for a year. I think I'm going to wait 1 year from the original assessment to get another assessment for ADHD specifically, just because I don't think going right after, I think I just need to learn more about myself first, and maybe I'll be able to answer the questionnaires more realistically. When I took my autism ADHD assessment, I was really obsessed with autism specifically, feeling like this is the answer, like this is the thing. And then also, I think I maybe in some of the questionnaires kind of denied some ADHD tendencies, because it takes me a really long time. The questionnaires are like the worst thing ever. It takes me a really long time. I would have spent way longer on them if I felt like I could have, and I know maybe I should have, and I should have asked questions for like all of the things, and I did ask a lot of questions, but I could have asked way more. I could have taken a lot longer. I don't like the generalized answers. Like, I want to be like, yes, but this is why I said yes, and this is what the instance is that's making me think of that. Is this the right thing that I'm thinking of? Is that's that thing you're talking about? Is this what this question means? You know, definitely more of an autistic thing. But I think that may be. I think my autistic tendencies tend to be more obvious than the ADHD ones. And also, my autistic traits, I think, are more obvious when my nervous system is dysregulated. So now that I have been getting a lot better at regulating my nervous system, I'm able to kind of notice those other things because I'm not having the like constant sensory overwhelm. And not that I don't have it at all, it's just, you know, I'm having less issues with meltdowns or shutdowns or other things that can be really overwhelming and all-encompassing, and you know, I can't really notice anything else that's going on. So because I am working on things and being healthier with my nervous system, I am noticing, or other people are noticing, my other tendencies that are maybe not related to autism, but I don't know for sure. So I would be interested to hear if anybody has opinions on that, or if you know more than me, because I'm sure plenty of people do. So yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I'd love to hear from you guys. I'll put all of my information in the show notes. Yeah, I've just been playing with this little thing this whole time. And yeah, my mom's been getting fidget toys for herself. This was one that she got for herself, and she didn't really like it, so she gave it to me, and I've been enjoying it. But she got some other like squishy ones. She has been just loving them. I don't know if either of my parents are autistic or both of them. I mean, the more I learn about it, the more I will be able to say. I think it looks more like my dad has some tendencies, and definitely his like great grandfather, and or not his grandfather, and maybe his mother. But who knows? It could be both. I'm not sure. My mom the other day, though, I had made this comment on a post. This is gonna be the last thing. Made this comment on this post on Instagram, and it has gotten over 16,000 likes, which is insane. I've never had anyone like anything that much. I don't even had anybody see anything that I've said that much. Like, it's just wild to me. But it was about being really like uncomfortable when you see embarrassing things on TV, like, or like having secondhand embarrassment. And my comment was like, yeah, even if it's on TV, like I have to like leave the room or like skip through the embarrassing thing happening because it makes me so uncomfortable, or like I plug my ears. So it was, obviously a little bit more eloquently put than that because I was typing it and I could think through the wording. But that's basically what I said. And it's gotten so many likes. But the other day, there was something really embarrassing going on in the show that she was watching. And my mom skipped through it. And my partner was like, oh, I really wanted to see that. And me and my mom were both like, no. Like, no. It was painful. And I thought that was very interesting because normally she doesn't do that, and I don't know if it's because she felt like she couldn't do it, and now that I talked about being able to, or I feel more comfortable expressing my own discomfort in those situations, and been just more expressive in general. I tend to not be, so I've been a little bit more expressive now. I feel like I have permission to express my discomfort, which I know I don't need, but it helps. And so I just plugged my ears and I was like, nope, nah, and I've done it a couple of times. But it's not that I didn't do it before. Like, I did. I just didn't make it obvious. I would try to be as discreet as possible. And now I'm like, I don't need to be trying to make as like little noise as possible and be like the smallest, mousiest person. Like, I don't need to do that. I can take up space and have my own reactions, and I don't need to constantly be thinking I'm inconveniencing somebody by my genuine reactions and just being myself. So anyways, that was something I thought that was interesting and funny. Yeah. That's basically what this episode has been about, is just interesting neurodivergent things that I've seen. So we'll see how today goes. I'm definitely going to be updating as like on all the stuff that I'm learning, and like if there's ways that I can apply it. I am pretty tired again today. I really did not want to get up. I had a very, very vivid dream. Something that I have very vivid dreams. I feel things physically happening to me in dreams. I see things so vividly that I'll wake up and I still remember the colors of things. I remember how things felt. I remember exactly what I was doing here and there and all of this stuff. It is just, yeah. But one part of the dream was I was late to work. And so I woke up and I was just like, I am tired and I don't want to get up. And I'm like, but I can't be late for work. And I hate having to drive in crazy traffic, so I always leave early to record. And I'm like, I can't miss recording. Like, I really enjoy doing this. And yeah, so, but I'm tired and hoping that this class will give me some excitement and make me look forward to maybe spending some time on my computer and kind of being able to do some of that at work. Obviously not too much, still got to do my job, but like I said, there's some downtime, so maybe I'll be able to do a little bit of that and kind of keep things interesting, because I really get bored if I'm just sitting around doing nothing. So we'll see. Yeah. I feel like I'm ready for a nap, though. My back has been kind of achy at night. I don't really know what to do about that. I feel like it's messing with my quality of sleep. Still not messing with my ability to dream, though. Definitely. Maybe I dream more when I'm in discomfort. I have no idea. That would be interesting to learn. Anyways, I gotta get off. I'm way behind schedule, and I gotta start work in a few minutes, but it's all good. I hope that you have a really good day, whatever it is that you're doing, and feel free to reach out if you wanna share anything or just have some cool conversations related to neurodivergence. Thank you for watching, and I really appreciate you, and just, yeah. And always remember that you are enough.